You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 304, and my name is Clark from 5cardguys.com and 5cardguys on Instagram, YouTube, and on Facebook. Co-hosting with me today is Will and Roy. They are back by popular demand. Welcome back, guys.
Hello.
Thank you. Hello.
All right, we did our mic check earlier, so I think we're ready to go. So let's get right into it. Off the top, Roy, another episode, another show you set up at recently. Do you want to tell us how the latest one went? I believe it was a CSC show this past weekend. And while you're sharing what happened, can you tell us whether the Pokemon market is still white hot?
Yeah, so the show was all right. I found it a lot slower than previous CSC shows. And I think, I don't know if it's the summertime or if it's like fatigue of so many back-to-back shows. Every weekend there's like 2 shows on a Saturday, Sunday. And all the newer shows that are coming up, they're all free admission for people, where the CSC is still charging $20, $25. So I don't know if people are like, hey, why would I need to pay when I could go to the shows that are free every other weekend?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was kind of causing it to have less people, or if because the venue is like much bigger than the other ones. But I did find it slower. But the good thing was people were willing to spend more on like bigger cards at the CSC show versus the other shows. So, there's a fine balance of being busy and trying to sell volume versus people, who are willing to spend more. So overall, it was a good show for me. I sold some pretty big slabs, but yeah, overall it was fun. It was a nice show.
Nice. What was the biggest card you sold at that show?
That one was probably a Coral Mew, like a Shining Mew. It was a Tag 9, so very close to a Tag 10. And yeah.
Tag grading for Pokemon cards becoming a thing now?
I think so. I do like the slabs. They do look kind of weird with sports cards in them, but for TCG, I think it looks really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was pretty early on.
Yeah, you were. I remember
endorsing Tag.
The first expo that we went to, I think you got your
a couple cards.
Pokemon cards. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, those looks really nice. So
got Tag 10 for both, so it makes me like them even more.
Isn't that a Tag 10 really hard to get?
Your grading percentage is like 900. You're batting 900 with grading overall. So
I just look at centering, man. And make sure there's no obvious scratches. But that's pretty much the extent of what I do to prep for grading. Well, you didn't go help out with Roy?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't do it the way Roy does. He's such a hustler. He's always working so hard, and I'm just lazy and trying to sleep in the mornings. I was just saying, isn't a Tag 10 really hard to get?
I think for I don't know. I think it's like all grading companies across the board. There's some 10s that slip through, and you're like, what the heck? How's that a 10?
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
But they have the report, so I feel like, they got to justify their 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like PSA where they just make it up on the spot.
Yeah. Did you guys see that PSA 8 that they crossed over to, they cracked and crossed over to BGS and it got a black label?
You don't need to give more reasons to Will for him to hate grading, right? But we will talk about grading just a little bit later on in the show. But yeah, thanks for that update.
Wait, can I ask a question about the CSC show?
Sure.
Roy, did you get to walk around at all?
No. When I'm by myself, it's impossible to walk around. Like,
that's true.
I just like even going to the washroom, like asking someone to wash my booth. I have a little bit of anxiety. Some pretty big cards in there, but I trust the guys that have been with me because I'm usually set up with them pretty much almost all shows that I do. But at the same time, it's still like, okay, I got to hurry up. I do want to walk around, but at the same time, it's probably not worth it.
Yeah.
But
I'm really curious if there's like a Pokemon fatigue that's like going to start soon.
Yeah, I don't know. The market's crazy hot still. You know, you think it's gonna keep on? It's gonna go down at some point, which like some of modern has, but like there's always something else that people are, that's going up in value, and you're just like, okay, I should have bought that card. I should have started buying this and like seeing these trends. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see it cooling down anytime soon.
Well, I mean, case in point, as of this recording, there was the drop for Mega Evolution, right? So Roy and I, we were able to get some, but Will has different priorities. He puts his business before Pokemon. That's just, you'll probably make more money with Pokemon at this point. Okay, so
it's always the problem. These drops happen like middle of the day when I'm trying to be a professional and do my actual job. Yeah. And then I'm always so sad that I miss out on these drops. And it's like, I could have like flipped them for like $100 profit. Meanwhile, I'm like trying to sell stuff that's like thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm worried about these Pokemon things. Yeah.
That's the reality we live in right now. But I was going to say, it's the case in point is that with this Mega Evolution drop, I think it's still pretty white hot, because there's like a couple of guys at my church that like talk to me about this too now. I'm like, whoa, you're into Pokemon as well, and you heard about these drops? Like, there are more people like really getting into, whether they're in Discord or whether they're on Twitter or X, to kind of get the heads up about these drops. So seems like, I don't know, there are more people getting into it still, even now. But at some point, I think we're all in agreement. At some point, it's got to correct itself. We just don't know when that'll happen.
You'll know when it's the bubble's gonna burst, when your parents are like, "Hey, Clark, is there a Pokemon drop today?" That's when you're like, "Okay, sell everything."
if any of our parents say that, we got to message each other and say "sell" in big capital letters. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that update. Before we move on, Will, you said you had a wrestling cards update for us as well. So let's hear it. I'm excited.
Yeah. So when you started having me and Roy semi-regularly on this pod, I was talking about how I was going to make this shift to wrestling. Yep. And I also shared some cards that I was going to start chasing and hunting. I felt like the market was soft on a couple cards. And I was talking about like Panini inserts like Color Blasts and Kabooms and Downtowns. I thought that the card market for WWE fans, they hadn't kind of caught on to how valuable these cards could be. And so I was chasing those, and I bought a couple of different Panini inserts, but it also coincided with the 2025 Topps Chrome release, and I was super excited about that. And I saw some insert sets from WWE from the Topps Chrome set, and it looked like it was super low pop, and I thought, okay, let's jump in early on these, and we'll watch these, go to the moon, right? Cards to the Moon podcast. I was so excited. Yes. And so I bought 17 cards of differing values, and I'm here to report that today, months after, I think about 6 months after doing this whole thing, I've turned a profit. Just talking about value, I have a profit value of 2.1%, so slightly
gains, baby.
Slightly round of applause. Than my banking, my savings account. Significantly worse than Roy's Pokemon investments. But I think the problem is I got way too excited about the WWE Topps Chrome release that I bought heavy on a few insert sets like Helix. You've probably seen Helix in the other Topps Chrome sets. It's the Color Blast alternative that Topps came out with. Yes. And then there's this other set called Mania, which is like a silver background, and it's got the wrestler from a significant WrestleMania moment. And WrestleMania is the quote unquote championship, like the finals kind of thing for each year. And so if I take those Topps Chrome cards out of the cards that I bought, I actually have a 30% profit. So
Okay.
I was right when I said, hey, you should be chasing Color Blasts and Kabooms and Downtowns, because those are up huge, and I'm doing really well on those. But these Helix and Mania ones, it's kind of I bought in a little high at the beginning. It dipped a little. It's starting to rebound. And actually, if you look at the total sales, a lot of these cards have less than 20 sales in 6 months. So it tells you that these are actually really low pop cards. And I think the market just hasn't figured it out. So I'm just going to say, long term, I think I'm still right. But in the short term, I've got a 2% profit.
I think you're early. You're definitely early. So
I think I'm early, yeah.
It's okay. Trust your gut, man. Like, if I just never vended and I just kept all my cards and just never traded them, like, I was on the right path. Like, by selling all these cards early that I enjoyed, that I thought would do well, and they're like plateaued for like 2 years, those all went up like crazy. And I'm like, okay, if I just waited and did nothing, I would have been much better off than, wasting all my weekends vending, although it is fun. But yeah, you're onto something, and just stick with it. Don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Wrestling's growing, man. Or it's feeding me, the algorithm's feeding me more wrestling clips now. Every time it's Monday with Raw or Friday with, the events that are streaming on Netflix. Yeah, it's I feel like it's growing.
I gotta tell you, this past weekend was a really big weekend for wrestling. AEW, the alternative promotion, they had their biggest event of the year. And so WWE, the scumbags that they are, they do something called counter programming. So they have all these events going on at the same time that AEW, every time AEW is like, hey, we're going to do a pay-per-view, WWE's like, oh yeah, we're also going to have a show. Actually, we're going to have 2 shows. We're going to do 3 shows. So this past weekend, there was a lot of really good wrestling on, and I gotta say, some of my PC wrestlers, they did really well. They put on a good show. So yeah, the hype for wrestling, I think it's still in its infancy. I think people are gonna start jumping in, and then as soon as that tipping point happens, and people just look at it as a profit, like to turn a profit, then that's when I'm gonna be like Roy and just like swimming in the cash.
He's gonna be at every show, just selling his cards for profit after profit. But yeah, thanks for that update, guys. Always fun to see what's going on in the Pokemon and wrestling card market, and it'll be an ongoing thing, I'm sure, just because it doesn't seem like those markets are going to slow down anytime soon. Okay, let's move on to hobby headlines. So I came upon another interesting article, and I want to go through it together because it's focusing on the Pokemon card boom and how Gen Z and Millennials in particular are using, quote, boy math, unquote, to argue that it's a better investment than Nvidia stock or even the S&P 500. In fact, the article from Fortune magazine is called, quote, Gen Z men are obsessed with Pokemon cards. They're using boy math to argue that they'll beat Nvidia stock and the S&P 500, end quote. Now, I see strong parallels between this story and how it could have easily been written a few years ago, saying something like, Gen X men are obsessed with sports cards and they're using boy math to argue that they'll beat the stock market, right? And we've seen how that kind of turned out for the most part. Not exactly the way we imagined, although there are some winners. So what I want to do is let's see where the parallels are, and where it's actually different between the sports card market during peak COVID to the Pokemon market today. And then we'll see if there's any lessons to be learned. All right. So I'll include the link to the article in the show notes if you guys want to read it more in depth. But I'll read a few quotes from the article, and then we can discuss each one. All right, so first quote, it says, Gen Z and Millennials are in agreement. Their obsession with Pokemon may never let up. Despite the Japanese franchise nearing its 30-year anniversary, young men in particular continue to be on a lifelong mission to catch 'em all. and are spending hundreds, sometimes even millions of dollars collecting trading cards. End quote. So the question for you guys to start this discussion is, do you think for those who grew up with Pokemon, this has become a lifelong obsession? And do you think this is also true of sports card collectors? Or is the affinity towards Pokemon just much stronger in Gen Z and millennials, like you guys are? I feel like I'm Gen X. I feel like you guys are a generation lower or younger than I am. So you tell me, what's this obsession of Pokemon? Is this accurate at all?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know why they would why they're like trending towards Pokemon. Because like for me, like I grew up watching only one season. I ripped base set and like I didn't really go past that. But I think it's just the artwork, and like social media, people, ripping packs. It's kind of like that, you're getting that dopamine hit. And they're like, okay, I want to do the same. And then they do it. They get a big hit, and then it's just this snowball effect. And then they just dive right in, and then. For the most part, like when I see people come to the shows, they come with a group of friends. So like they're in the hobby together with other people, and that makes it a lot easier to spend money. And when you see something, you buy a card at one show, and the next week it's already up 20%, and then the next week it's up 100%. You're like, okay, this is amazing. So then you dive deeper, right? So yeah, I think right now it's just like a time where it doesn't make sense, but at the same time it makes it fun. Whether you're ripping or you're just buying singles and you're seeing the values go up.
I can definitely see that, but everything you just said is, you could say the same for the sports car market. Like 3-4 years ago, you get that dopamine hit when you hit get that nice rare parallel or that auto, right? So I see the parallel in that, but there is one difference I think there is. And before I share that, Will, do you have anything that you want to share based on the first quote?
I mean, generationally, we are a little bit kind of, we're kind of on the fringe, right? You're on the fringe of Gen X, and I'm on the fringe of millennials. And so when I think about Pokemon, there's so much nostalgia, and there's so many fond memories. Because in '98, when Pokemon Red and Blue came out for Game Boy, I was 15 years old, and that was like the height of my video game playing like time. Like I was playing Game Boy, like anytime I was traveling or going to church or going to school, like I always have my Game Boy, I'm playing Pokemon, and then at home I'm on my computer playing StarCraft. And so there's just so much nostalgia attached to playing Pokemon. And then, anyone who's like a little bit younger than me, they grew up watching the cartoons. And so it's this perfect storm, this perfect system that they've put into place where they've raised children from the 90s until now. And before Roy really started, I think, educating us and just opening our eyes to Pokemon, one of the thoughts that I always had was like, well, I mean, how, like, I don't want to have like, I don't know which Charmander to get, or I don't know which card is good, which card is bad. And what I realized as I've continued on this Pokemon journey is it's just like its name. You got to catch them all. And so, right. We've talked about this a couple times on the pod. I've been looking into Butterfree, and now I'm about to pull the plunge. Like I'm about to buy Butterfree cards. There's like, I think like 40 of them that have released over the 30 years. And so it's super gettable, and I want to get them all, and they all have different artwork. And so it's like, I look at these Pokemon Instagram accounts, and there's so many Pokemon collectors who actually just collect the same card. And they just have a binder of like 300 of the same card, and they get so much joy just flipping the page, and each page is just the same card. And I don't know, I kind of get it now. And then I think like, well, with sports cards, the problem is outside of the rookie card image, you don't really want to collect anything else from that player.
Good point.
Right? Like you don't want to buy a lesser set like Topps Finest. And maybe there's a Top Stadium Club, you know, because those images are really nice. But you're not going to buy these lower end sets because you want the rookie card of Vladdy in every set. Yeah. But you may want every Butterfree that's been made in the last 30 years. So yeah, I'm really starting to see the appeal of Pokemon. And like the article says, yeah, for millennials and Gen Z, it's like, well, of course, we're choosing to spend our disposable income on these things that brought us so much joy when we were kids.
Yeah, that's a great point that you mentioned, even about not wanting to collect every card of a certain player for sports cards, right? Yeah. And that goes beyond even rookie. Like, who wants the second and third year cards of those players? It's just,
exactly.
That's base garbage, right? It's like, how do we give those away? The thing I was thinking about too, and the one major difference is that, even if the nostalgia factor is there for both sports card collectors and Pokemon card collectors, right? The nostalgia is what gets us back. And now that as adults, we have disposable income, we could spend more on cards. But the one differentiator is, if you're a sports card collector, and you want to get the top prospect or rookie, you got to wait every season, like 1 year before the next rookie class comes out. Pokemon, like, we're joking, like, off air, we're going to rank the whole Scarlet and Violet era. And then I named 5. I'm like, did I get it? Did I get them all? And you're like, Roy's like, no, there's a lot more. They just keep printing different sets that come out like every month and a half. And like, I've lost track of, which ones have come out and which ones I've even ordered, and I just got to notice that my black and white is being shipped today. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that I bought that a couple months ago. Right? So I feel like Pokemon is really taking advantage of the current market right now. And like, you know what? We might as well print more because the demand is ridiculous right now.
Yeah, and I think they're being strategic to nostalgia as well. Like 151, that brought like so many people in, right? Like the people my age and our age that grew up on like the 151, but they're also printing like the last time I don't think they ever printed a black and white until this year. So they're like strategically saying, okay, like we got the base set guys in. Now how we're gonna bring like the mid era guys? Okay, we started doing EX cards again. We have black and white, mega evolutions, like that's the XY area. So I feel like they're reprinting all these different eras to kind of bring that nostalgia back and be like, okay, come back. And start, coming back to the hobby, right?
Yeah, excellent point. Well, I guess it's not a surprise because the second part I want to read is that from the article, it says Pokemon cards have seen the largest long-term increase in value among all card categories, up 3,261% over 20 years, wow. According to Card Ladder. So even looking at a 1-year investment, the average Pokemon card is increasing at nearly 46%, a pace far exceeding hot stocks like Nvidia so far in 2025, or the S&P 500's average 12% annual return rate, which is really high. So yeah, my question now is, are you afraid, and I think I kind of know the answer, but are you afraid of a major correction coming, or are we holding on for dear life?
I mean, at the end of the day, for me, at least, or for most of us, it's still a hobby. So I haven't put too much cash. Like, luckily, I got in a time where my collection or portfolio has gotten up a lot. But if it crashes, I'm still going to enjoy the cards, and it's not going to affect me that much, right? I'm not putting my life savings in. I'm not doing options tradings with Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Right, so like, if you're putting in more money than you could afford to lose, then it's pretty much gambling at this point, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've seen some Instagram posts that there are people that are pretty, like, they're really deep into it, and yeah, it's sad to see that. But yes, good advice, Roy. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about when you're talking about like if there's a down market, it's like that's actually a great buying time. When baseball hit that dip, or when all sports cards start to dip, I think I bought more during that time, or that's when I started buying bigger cards.
Yes.
You know, when the card market was on the rise, I would just buy like $100 cards, $200 cards, and flip them for like 200 and 300 and make a little bit money. But I would never think like, oh yeah, that Vladdy Gold, that Soto, you know, that Acuna, like these high end, low pop, like color variation cards. I would never think that I could get them. And then when the sports market was dipping, it's like, oh yeah, I can start chasing these bigger cards. So I actually think during those times it's a lot of fun because, yeah, it's like Roy said, if your only goal is to make money in this hobby, I don't know how to talk to you because that's not how I am. In fact, I'm probably losing money, and that's okay because it's my hobby. I'm enjoying every aspect of it. And if you're not enjoying it, then you have to like reevaluate why you're doing it, what you're doing. You know, if you're putting too much money in and you're not getting any fun out of it, you gotta correct yourself. But yeah, I think if the Pokemon market starts to dip, and Roy's gonna have the time of his life buying up, you know, his Mario Pikachu that he's been wanting for the longest time.
I know, even like 2 months ago on the pod, I still wanted that card. I'm like, it's gonna go down. It's 2x since then, and 2x from the previous 2 months before that. So yeah, I'm waiting for a correction. I need to buy some PC Grail cards.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're recording this on a Tuesday, but and the episode that came out recently was with DC, and the pick one for that show was Mario Pikachu and a baseball card versus Luigi Pikachu and another baseball card, and it was a sweep. Everyone just wants some Mario Pikachu.
Of course.
I was just joking with DC. I'm like, the last time we recorded, because I've been kind of doing an episode with him monthly, it went from 8,000 to 15,000.
Yeah.
And now we're like, it's going to be 20K by the time we record, in a month.
Should I just bite the bullet and sell all my cards and buy that? Yeah.
That's when it goes down. That's what I also joke too. So you got to be careful. But going back to the article, I mentioned that Pokemon over the last 20 years, if you look at the card ladder data, went up 3,261%, which is incredible. Second, during that, if you include the sports cards, is football, 1,290, 1,290%. Then basketball, 1,174%. Baseball at 716%. And then if you did the smart thing and invested in the S&P 500 over the 20 years, you're good, but you're only at 421%. So I guess those Pokemon, long-term Pokemon collectors are laughing all the way to the bank right now. Okay. I'm going to read a quote. Third one is, nostalgia plus business equals the new art. These things are appreciating like crazy as collectibles are becoming very low supply, high demand art pieces. And that was said by Logan Paul, one of the big time Pokemon card collectors. Agree or disagree with that statement?
Yeah, like I agree, because especially like the lower pop stuff. Like it's a cardboard. Like if you think about the Mickey Mantle, that's it's an old card. Is it fancy? No, but it's a piece of art. It's a piece of history. Pokemon has a bigger market in terms of popularity, so the pop might be higher, but it's a artwork that's really well done on a piece of cardboard. There's rarity, and that will bring value. So I do agree to a certain degree.
What was the beginning of that quote? Nostalgia what?
Plus business equals the new art.
Equals the new art? What does that even mean?
Not art as in like art, like artwork?
But I mean, like later on in that quote, he says these things are appreciated like crazy as collectibles are becoming very low supply and high demand art pieces. So I think it's also alluding to seeing these trading cards, in particular Pokemon cards, as art pieces. Do you see it that way as well?
Yeah, I guess I always felt that way, right? Because I always actually like the image of the card. That's always the thing that I look at first. But as you were reading that quote, I was like, this sounds like the most obvious thing that anyone could say. And then when you said it's Logan Paul, I was like, oh, okay, great. Like, then I'm correct in my assessment. And I love Logan Paul as a wrestler. I'm really enjoying him in the WWE. But I mean, that's kind of how it is, right? Like, nostalgia is just this power inside all of us. This, we crave it and we love it so much. And old people always want to be reminded of their young days, and so they'll buy things that remind them of, that make them feel younger. And then young people, like teenagers, buy things that make them feel older or more mature. And that's just kind of how it always works. Like if you're marketing, you're always trying to market to one of those two groups, right? Like, hey, you old guy, you could feel young again. Or you young kid, you could be cool like the older kids or the older people. Yeah. Nostalgia is powerful. Yeah.
Nostalgia is a drug for sure. For sure. And like for me, the whole art thing, like we even mentioned in past podcast episodes where we almost relate to some of these really high-end, low-supply cards as art pieces, and we could see them appreciating as such because some of these cards are being auctioned at Sotheby's, where they auction high-end art pieces, like legit art pieces, right? So now it's kind of on that level, and I don't know if you saw the clip of Dana White, UFC president, and he was showing his office, and like he has like a collection of 12, 15 cards behind this like vault, but you can see the cards behind the vault. Like it is totally secure. That's on a display like a legit art
Mona
piece.
Lisa, yeah.
Kind of, yeah. So it was kind of cool to see that. And it's like worth over $1 million combined because there's a PSA 10 Michael Jordan Fleer in there. There's Tom Brady Bowman Chrome Refractor. I saw a GSP autograph card in there. So it's going after all the great cards. Okay, next quote. This is from Ryan Hoge, the president of PSA. All right, they interviewed him for this article. He says, quote, "I think sometimes people want to break from the digital, and this is a good outlet for it. And not only do you get to hold something in your hand, but you also get to interact with a community of like-minded people that have similar interests." So your thoughts on the whole idea that we're just, need this break from the digital, and that's kind of adding to the growth of the hobby, and as well as, just being in part of this community of like-minded collectors. Thoughts on those two things?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, especially now that I'm vending more, I've been meeting a lot more people, whether it's other vendors or, just customers or just other hobbyists. And it's definitely awesome to just interact with them. Because when I was collecting Pokemon, we have our chat group. Nobody knows Pokemon, so I'm just doing it by myself. It's kind of a lonely road. I'd be like, oh, I'd show a card, and everyone would just be like, cool story, man. I'm just like, okay. But now that I get a chance to, talk with others, it makes me enjoy it a lot more than I did. And I get to see cards that like I wouldn't be in my collection per se, but I get to see them physically. I get to touch them, and then, I was just saying, like, I bought graded cards for my cards because it has that physical aspect, and it just makes that card look even better. So,
right,
I definitely agree with that. So,
I think definitely the physical aspect of card collecting, it's really special. It's tangible. It's something you can touch. It's something you can look at. It's something you can feel in your hands, and that kind of reminds you of childhood as well, right? Like when you collected cards and you sleeve them and put them in binders and you flip through them. I think one of the great things about the life now is that we can break away from the digital and have these like things in our hands, but we also have the ability to post these like images of our cards online, either on Instagram or Facebook. And so you actually get this even better ability to build community. And you get this chance to see cards that you never would have gotten to see beforehand, right? Like it would just be, in the 80s, it would just be like a myth or a legend. Like, oh yeah, the card shop had a Wayne Gretzky one time. It was in that display case. It's like, oh my gosh, it was there 3 weeks ago. Oh, I missed it. But now it's like, these truly rare cards, you get to see them displayed online on Instagram. And so I really like that too. I really like the way the world is now, and with all the technological advancements we have, you kind of get to enjoy the best of both worlds.
Yeah, no, it's like a full circle, right? Like a full loop. And to your point, when we discussed at length the whole Paul Skeens 1-of-1 MLB debut patch that sold for over $1 million. And when I went to Fanatics Fest, it was kind of almost surreal to see it in person, like on display, right? Behind in the Dick's Sporting Goods section of Fanatics Fest. And everyone's taking pictures of it or taking video of it. And kind of goes back to the previous quote about just treating it almost like as an art piece. Like it's on full display, and it's like, hey, take a picture of me standing beside this Paul Skeens 1-of-1 MLB, pointing at the card like this. Yeah, it's kind of cool how things have turned out, and like it's I of course I agree with the whole the sense of community that the hobby's built, right? Just like this podcast is built on it, just like having all of the listeners is kind of this great big community of collectors just enjoying the content that's being put out there, and just talking about the cards that we have and the issues within the hobby. We're all kind of in this community together, so that's kind of cool. I know my youngest son really enjoys the physical aspect of Pokemon cards. He was trying to build a house of cards with the Pokemon base cards that and he's just really enjoying that aspect of it. And they're all PSA 1s now, right? But that's it's good. He had a good time. And my oldest one, he's 8, and he knows more. He's kind of I think Roy and I can relate to that, having kids around the similar age. And that's kind of cool too, to see that they're getting into the hobby as well. So different generations, as we talked about before. All right, one last quote before we close hobby headlines. In the article, it says, and even though over 75 billion Pokemon cards have been produced, demand is still sky high, according to Barry Sams, who is the Vice President of Game Development and Community Engagement at the Pokemon Company International. And he says, quote, with explosion in demand, we're printing at maximum capacity to deliver the greatest amount of cards possible to fans for current expansions while ensuring we maintain quality standards, he tells Fortune. So there's two things at play here, right? Like there is a game aspect to this. This is a TCG game. We almost forget that, right? And there are players out there. So I guess him as the VP of game development, that's his main focus. So he's saying, listen, people want to play. It's popular. We're printing maximum capacity right now. But as a collector, you're like, okay, this is kind of like, high supply, and is this going to crater the value at some point? So yeah, your thoughts. I'm just going to leave that open. What do you think of this quote from Barry Sams?
So he's giving us a warning. Sell modern.
Sell modern. Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. It just makes no sense. Like that Van Gogh Pikachu is now the biggest or the most graded Pokemon card of all time, and those PSA 10s are still going for what, like $1,500 now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Canadian, yes.
Yeah, Canadian.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
I still think that has to correct. It is a great card, but being printed at that volume and like, it's just.
Is it that great of a card though? Like,
I think it's a great card.
It's beautiful. What are you talking about, Will?
I think I have to look at it again. Van Gogh,
it's iconic,
Pikachu.
Man. No, it's iconic. But I mean, to Roy's point, I think he said something like that. It's got to go down at when it was $500, when it was $600, when it was $700. I think he said that about Mario Pikachu. So I don't know what to believe right now.
No, I can't even believe myself. Like I said earlier, like if I just didn't do any of these shows and I kept all my cards, I would have done very well for myself.
You should be in a good position, because I feel like Pikachu is like, obviously the card that in general the value keeps going up. The other one's kind of, is more volatile, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like the ponchos are doing like really well.
Mm-hmm.
Festas are doing well, but I sold a bunch of them thinking, okay, you know what? Like, I think we're in an economy where things, people aren't going to be spending that much, but it's the opposite. Like they're spending more on Pokemon. It's just like, dang. I sold that like a month ago. Like that Stamp Pikachu that you have. I was like, okay, it's at $1,100 right now. I think it'll go back down to like $600-700. Now it's at like $2,000. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. You did well. You did well, Clark.
Maybe I need to sell that actually soon. So, We'll see. Did you see the Van Gogh? You change your mind, Will?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's nice, and I was like, I'm not the biggest art aficionado, so I googled what is the significance of a gray felt hat, and I guess it's from his Van Gogh's self-portrait. So I'm like, okay, I get it. But you know which Pikachu card I really like? I like the screaming one.
Oh, yeah, the Munch.
Like, I think that's way more iconic, and the artwork on it's way better. It's just Pikachu in a hat. Like,
it being an English exclusive definitely helps, even with the high pop. But yeah.
Speaking of which, there was a rumor that
Mario Pikachu.
Snow Mario Pikachu, but I don't know. I'm sure Roy saw the rumor that there might be a Japanese version of it.
Oh,
did you hear that?
Is it a Japanese version, or is it just they're just releasing the English version in Japan?
Oh, good question. I thought it was Japanese version, but I might be wrong. I could definitely be wrong, but if it's the English version, the pop count's gonna double then?
Yeah. But like,
I think it's a rumor.
Point of like cards being more printed. I also think they're also being kept sealed by a lot more people than they used to be. Like everyone has a sealed collection of hundreds of boxes, or 10 boxes, 20 boxes. Whereas before, that probably wouldn't be the case, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. I feel like those boxes will disappear really quickly. Like, sure, a lot of people are holding onto these boxes, but also, like, as time progresses, people will start ripping those boxes. And then it'll just become so scarce.
Yeah, so wouldn't it be a smart idea to be buying vintage boxes? Because those are like literally disappearing, right? They're being ripped at a crazy rate because of whether it's like the streamers or whatnot.
But so expensive for that reason, though. So expensive, right?
Yeah, but like you just got to think, like, will that still be in demand? Because like 10 years from now, are people going to be like, hey, I want to rip Journey together? I don't know. Maybe if it's like $4 a pack, yeah, but if it's not, then
not for every box. Yeah, not for every box. I have a couple of, or I had a couple of boxes of Prismatic Evolutions. I think that's one of the boxes. So I actually sold one last week.
Oh, nice.
250 Canadian.
Sweet.
After all the eBay fees.
Yeah.
I'm keeping one. It's on display in my office just in case. I think I'm going to just keep that one and see what happens to it in 4 or 5 years.
I mean, PC ETBs are good because they're exclusive. So, but like regular ETBs,
right?
Those ones, I don't know how they'll do over the long term.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, since you guys are coming on these days once a month, we'll just keep monitoring it. And then when you see Roy disappear from the podcast, that means the Pokemon market's over. Where's Roy? Oh yeah, no one's buying Pokemon cards anymore. So,
that's when I ripped the most, though. When it was like slowest, 2023.
Right.
I'd be buying packs all the time, like $4 a pack, like under retail. Go to a hobby shop and it's like anywhere from $3 to $5.
Right.
Sword and Shield era, yeah.
Only you could turn back time. All right, that's the article. Again, I'll include the link to that article in the show notes below so you guys can read it for yourself. All right, let's move on to our next segment called Quiz Show. All right, so these are 5 questions I got prepared for you. Let's see how you do. And the first one, you kind of answered it, Roy. It was about the Van Gogh. The question was, which Pokemon card is the most graded by PSA now? That was easy, Van Gogh. But I could spin off that question with the part 2. And that is, so do you know how many were graded?
No, I have no idea.
Total of 83,486.
Oh my God.
Van Gogh were graded, and 40.
That's just by PSA?
Just by PSA, I believe. Yep. And yes, by PSA.
Wow.
And just over 40,000 are PSA 10s.
Wow.
So that's a gem rate of 45% or so, right? So almost 50%. But it is, if you include sports cards graded, like the other sports cards that have been graded by PSA, where does it rank, do you think, in terms of the most graded cards, that Van Gogh Pikachu? It's number 1 Pokemon card, but where does it rank in the top, do you think, if you include the sports cards as well?
I'd say top 10, probably 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Will?
I was gonna say like top 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Will's definitely right. The third most graded in all of cards. Yeah.
I figure it's like Griffey.
Yes.
And then, I mean, if you look at my collection, it must have been Bo Bichette PSA 10s. What's number 2?
I gotta check.
Lewis Robert.
I feel like Griffey's 1 and 2 or something.
It might be Wemby.
No, I think Wemby's like 50K.
You gotta look it up.
I'll look it up later.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, that card is ridiculous. Okay, next question. This is kind of more fun. You might know this already, but the new Pope, the new Catholic Pope, Pope Leo, recently autographed a Pokemon card. Which Pokemon card was it?
Why did he sign a Pokemon card?
You'll know why when you hear the answer.
Oh, okay.
Starts with a P. I've never heard of this Pokemon, so it could be a hard one. But it makes sense when you read when you know what it is.
Come on, Pokemon expert.
Oh, I said Will. I was telling you.
Oh, I have no idea. P. It starts with a P.
Mm-hmm.
Pinsir.
Pinsir.
No, it's not.
It's the Pope Leo, right?
Yeah, it's the Pope Leo. Pope Leo.
Yeah. It's
Get
a
it?
seal-looking Pokemon.
Oh.
Poplio or Poplio, yeah.
You know what? That's pretty good. That's like how they have Kevin Durant signing that Durant Pokemon card.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was sick. I mean, the guy that got it signed by the Pope, he was not prepared. He didn't have a Sharpie or anything. It was like this pen that didn't work on the first streak.
On, dude. Yeah. Could be worth a lot more
otherwise
if you got
that
a nice
been
auto.
A sick auto.
Oh, that's pretty good. Poplio.
All right. Third question. We'll talk about V-Friends. How much did the Gary V Topps Chrome V-Friends Super Fractor 1-of-1 autograph sell for recently? So in the V-Friends, speaking of which, I know you just got 2 hobby boxes. Will, did you flip them yet, or what are you doing?
Oh man, I don't know. Roy told me
it's like 600 now, right?
Oh no, it's more. I think it's like 750 Canadian.
Oh.
Canadian or US?
No, 750 Canadian, 800 Canadian, something around there.
Yeah, so 600 US.
Yeah, 600 US. Roy told me that I should give them to you so that you could sell them to David Adams when you go down to the National.
I guess. What are they buying? You just gotta check their website.
Yeah, I don't know. I want to rip one.
Rip one, flip one.
One's a little bit dented, so I think that means you have to rip it, right?
That's the rule.
Yeah. The other one
that means there's a major hit in there. Yeah.
But I mean, also at the same time, I think if you just hold on to these, they're just gonna keep going up in value.
Good.
No, you never know.
Because it's the first. It's essentially the first edition. I know he had like this other.
He has a Zero Cool and
the
he
Zero
has
Cool one, but he's like he's retconning that. He's like pretending that one didn't happen.
No. What are you talking about?
Like
have
you seen the card on the Topps Chrome ones? They have like it says like V Friends like first or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the first Chrome cards, kind of like it's like an homage to the first Bowman Chrome.
Exactly. So that's why I think if I just hold on to these boxes and let my kids,
could be a play.
Yeah, let my kids rip them or sell them later on.
I mean, you might change your mind after that question. The answer to this question, like there is an Entrepreneur Elf subset within the V Friends, right? And it's like actual entrepreneurs, and they have autographs, on-card autos in the subset. Obviously, Gary V is one of them. Michael Rubin is another, right? And there is a super factor of each entrepreneur that they signed, and someone pulled the Gary V Superfractor 1-of-1 auto. How much did it sell for recently? What are your guesses? Raw.
I feel like I saw it, so Roy, you should go first.
What are some other auto 1-of-1s that like Superfractor sports players? that have sold recently, like rookies.
There's
Probably
it's no
something-
comparison. It's so
Yeah.
different.
Huh?
I know. I'm just trying to like justify this answer. Like I don't know, like $40,000.
Okay. And Will, you saw it? What was it?
Now I'm concerned because I thought I saw it. I thought I saw
Okay.
it like 512,000 or something like that.
Shoot. Okay, I'm way off then.
No.
Oh
There's
no, was it?
Roy's closer. Roy's
Oh,
closer.
maybe it was like 10%. Maybe I bumped up one decimal.
Yes. Yeah, that's what you did. $55,000.
Oh, there you
Wow.
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And if you know anything about Gary Vee, the guy who bid on it probably is a huge Gary Vee fan because Gary Vee's favorite number is 5. So 55,000 is on point for that card.
Gary bought it himself.
Gary
Yeah.
shill bidding? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
he's increasing
eBay
the price of
user
his
is-
boxes.
Not
Yeah, the
not
eBay
Gary
user-
V 035672.
Lucky Cat 5.
Very, very lucky cat 5. Yeah. All right, 2 more. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I was going to bring up grading. So we're in July. That means gem rate, they released data for the first half of the year. So from January to June. All right. So in the first half of 2025, how much market share does PSA have in terms of the number of cards that were graded in 2025 from January to June? And also, how much, and obviously PSA is the number 1 market share, right? How much market share does Beckett have, which is number 4 out of the 4?
I would say PSA has 70% of the market,
Mhm.
and Beckett would have 3.5%.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 80% for PSA and like 2-3% for Beckett.
Wow. No faith in Beckett, eh?
Well, he's the 4th, right? 4 out of 4.
Well, the answer is 72% for PSA.
Wow,
So Roy
good
was
job,
pretty.
Roy.
Beckett, 3%.
Oh,
So there you go. Roy's got it.
Roy's
bang on.
spot on.
Spot on today. And if you're interested, SGC 8% and CGC 17% in the
Wow,
first half.
CGC. Good job. Good for you.
Making a run, and obviously TCG cards have a big part of that. And speaking of which, how much market share of TCG graded cards does PSA have versus CGC in the first half, the top 2? So if you're only looking at TCG cards, what's the market share of PSA and what's the market share of CGC?
90-10.
no.
Okay. I
would
mean, you got to
say
include
I would-
Beckett too. There's Beckett and SGC.
Oh, I thought it was just
So-
between.
Yeah, just those two,
between
but
two.
yes.
Oh, you have to. It's like it's not 100% of the pie is those two.
Right.
That's not
Unless
what
you
we're
think
doing.
Beckett and SGC have 0%, which we
No,
know
no,
Beckett.
that's not what I was thinking. I thought we were just counting PSA
Yeah.
and CGC.
I would say like PSA would have like 63%, and CGC would be at 22%.
Okay.
I feel like he's googling these.
No, my hands are here.
Whoa, you're right on.
Yeah, the numbers are so detailed.
I don't know.
65.3%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Roy. 65
Okay, so-
and what did he say for the other one?
22.
25. 65,
All
25.
right. You know, Will's just like those annoying Price is Right contestants. You know what I mean? Just
$1, Bob.
$901.
Yeah, just $1 above the other guy. You know, that's the answer is 71% for PSA and 25% for CGC. So there you go, Roy. Pretty close once again.
Roy, you know what? Last time we did quiz show, Roy was like 4 for 5. He's really good at this.
I think Roy has the best record for quiz show. The worst is probably
Yeah.
John. Worst is probably John, but you know,
Well, I
John,
think
there was
I'm
a
a close second.
you know, Will, you might have been you might be at the bottom now because when John came back on the pod because he's been off for a few weeks,
Yeah.
and then when he came back on, we did quiz show and he went 5 for 5
You know what?
Like,
I listened to that episode. Yeah, he was. Yeah,
came back a different man.
I mean, we're talking about like TCG. Our questions are TCG or like WWE based, so we kind of like know generally. But sports is like, John knows nothing about football. Like, you ask him a football question, he's gonna get it wrong.
What are you talking about? He likes
baseball questions.
Too. Yeah.
Maybe you should just give Jess, next time he's on, just do quiz show just for him. 10 questions, hockey. Just see how he does.
Yeah, I feel like he'll do well. That's why. So it's no fun in that, really. But all right, well, that's quiz show for today. Let's end the show with our regular weekly segment we call Pick One. All right, so when it's just Will, Roy, and I usually like to ask Will to start things off for us. You got one for us?
Awesome. Yeah. So it's been roughly a month since the NBA season has ended. Mm-hmm. And, we saw our Canadian guy, Shea, win MVP this season. I think he was finals MVP as well, right?
Yep.
And won a championship, and his star is just going up, 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 and up, and his cards are going up, up, and up. And so I wanted to do a pick one with Shea, his silver PSA 10. So silver prism is kind of like, I don't know, it's like the standard that a lot of people look at basketball cards with. Yep. So your pick one, you have to choose between a Shea Gilgeous-Alexander silver prism PSA 10, mm-hmm. or Anthony Edwards silver prism PSA 10, or Wemby PSA 10 silver. The Shea sold for about 1,500 Canadian, has a pop of close to 700. The Anthony Edwards, the Ant one, is close to 1,000 Canadian and has a pop of 2,150. And the Wemby one is almost 1,000, but has a pop of 4,600.
Wow.
So which one are you buying? Now, obviously, the Shea is the most expensive, but it's also the one that's seen the most inflation in recent months because of this past season. So which
what was
one
the pop for the SGA?
700. Super low. Yeah,
lowest pop out of 3.
Yeah, 2018 release, so the pop's just a lot lower on them.
Go ahead, Roy.
Me, I just go for the lower pop. And like being a Canadian, I'd want to go for Shea, but like seeing clips of Wemby, he's like training with monks. He's getting stronger. I think he's gonna be generational.
Okay, yeah.
That's true.
Like just the low, like the pop is just too. It's almost 5,000. You said, right? It's 5 times. Yeah. It's 5 times a Shea, so I have to go Shea.
Okay, I thought you were going to go Wemby for a second.
I know, you talked about him being with the months.
The pop on Wemby was a lot less. Like if it was like 2K, I might have went Wemby, but yeah, like being that low, like under 700, I still think Shea has a lot of room to grow. So going with Shea.
Interesting. I'm going with Ant. I feel like he's the best value. Like I think, like you were saying, there's been a increase in SGA, obviously because of what he's done recently, and so I think there's a certain premium, right? With Wemby, the pop count is an issue for me, and also Wemby has a ton of other cards that I think will be more valuable or more sought after than the silver prism. Even within the prism itself, there's like how many 110 different parallels of prism in his year. So the silver prism is not that it doesn't stand out as much as it did in the 2018 year with SGA's when SGA was a rookie. So Ant's kind of in the middle, with the pop count, and I think Ant is also, I think he's going to be a stud. So I think his value will also go up. I think it's been decreased a little bit just because, the Timberwolves didn't achieve the success they probably wanted for this past season. So I think there's more room for the Ant card to grow. So if I'm going to have to choose between the 3, Ant-Man it is.
Wow. Okay. It's interesting because when I first came up with this pick one, I thought Wemby was the worst card to choose just because the pop's so high.
Mm-hmm.
And, his injury risk and all that. He's proven the least out of the three players. Obviously, Shea has the more accolades, and Ant's I actually enjoy watching Ant the most out of those three. I love his game.
Yeah.
And then Shea's Canadian, and we're Canadian, so we root for him. I can't believe I'm saying it. I think I'm going to go Wemby just because I think the upside is too high. Like, if he can stay injury-free, he might be, like, LeBron level? Is that blasphemous?
Wow. Not blasphemous, but that's very high accolades for sure.
Yeah. I don't think Ant ever wins a championship. That's my reason I can't pick Ant, even though he's my favorite player to watch. I don't think the T-Wolves will ever win a championship. And then with Shea, yeah, I mean, like, they have a good chance to keep winning. But Wemby he might be the next LeBron.
So you're saying he's the best? He's going to be the best player of all time?
He might be. John's not here, and he's not listening to the pod, so he doesn't care. So I'm gonna pick Wemby.
Wow,
yeah.
3-way split. I think this might be the first time in the history of Cars to the Moon we had a 3-way split. There you go. Good one. All right, Roy, you got one for us?
Yeah. So mine's gonna be Pokemon focused. So there's you could have the set of the Pikachu Battle Festas, so 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, PSA 10s, with a rough value of $25,000 for the 4 of them. And then I'm going to put it against our favorite card, the Mario and Luigi Full Art PSA 10s, with roughly around the same value, just under $25,000. So which one are you going for?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What is the significance of the Festa card?
So there was a playing tournament in Japan that was like the Battle Festa tournament.
Okay.
So then all the people that went there would get a promo card, and these would be the promotional cards that we had.
Oh, I see. So it's like you don't get it in a pack. No.
Yeah, they're all promo cards.
Card. Oh, cool.
And is the forest that's a complete set?
Yeah, so those are the only like the Battle Festa tournaments. I think after that they have similar artwork, but they're not a part of the Festa tournaments, so they're not called that. But
yeah, for me, it's easy, especially after having DC, Steph and Martin on the pod last week, and when I put up Mario Pikachu, it didn't matter what the other side was. It was Mario Pikachu. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what the other side was. And I'm like, wow, there's some diehard, and of course, Roy is haunted by the Mario Pikachu going up in price, and now I'm feeling it. I'm like, okay, I kind of want the Mario Pikachu because everyone else wants it, So for me, it's Mario Pikachu with the Luigi. That's, a bonus kicker. Because really, the Pikachu Festa, I like the 2016. Like, that's the only one I want with all the original starters. The other three, I don't even know what they look like. Mm-hmm. So I'm not as into them as I probably should be. I don't know. But for that reason, I'm going with Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, it's 100% the Mario and Luigi. I love cards that come in pairs. I don't know why. I really love connecting two cards, and Mario and Luigi is just the perfect connection. Super nostalgic. I talked about playing Game Boy when I was 15, but my first system was an NES system, and playing Mario, and growing up playing Mario Brothers 3. It's like, yeah, that's a special card.
Yippers.
Yeah. For me, like the Festa, the 2016 Festa you just talked about, that's the card that got me back into the hobby. Like, I was doing sports cards before that, and then that nostalgia of seeing the 3 starters and Pikachu all in one card, and then also like the fact that it's like the 20th anniversary card. I was like, oh, I need that card. And then I kind of dove deeper, and I'm like, oh, these other Festas. So the most I had at one time was 3. I sold 2 of them. I still have the 2016 Festa, and I have another 2 at PSA right now. Should be coming back soon, hopefully.
Of the 2016?
No. I think I sent in the 2016 and 17.
Oh.
Okay.
And like the artwork is like it's so nice, but yeah, again, like the Mario Pikachu, it haunts me. Like I need to have that in my collection. I could have got the whole set for 6,000, and now it's at 25. So I have to go with Mario as well. Like, and I think what I do like about it, like I love the artwork and it has like all these other Pokemon in the background, but I actually kind of like the fact that it's just like one, like all the focus is just on like the Mario and then the Luigi on their own separate cards. So I like that simplicity, and like the artwork is just it's so good. So I am gonna have to go Mario Luigi as well.
There you go. Again, back-to-back weeks. Mario sweep. Mario Pikachu sweep. Can anything defeat the Mario Pikachu in our weekly segment? Pick one. Gotta think of Charizard maybe. I guess that's probably the closest. But all right, we'll see. Good one. All right, I'm gonna, Hyung, if he was here, he would choose a couple of Aaron Judge cards because he still thinks Aaron Judge is criminally undervalued in comparison to especially Shohei. So he's been like 2 months now of podcasts where he's done a pick one with Aaron Judge, like a lower to mid tier end to get the best value. I'm gonna go high end though. I'm gonna keep with that theme that Hyung's been on, and I'm gonna go high end Aaron Judge cards. Okay, and these ones sold within the past couple months, and they're both valued at about $50,000. Okay, so the first one is the 2017 Topps Chrome Red Refractor autograph card, which is numbered to 5, of course, and it's a PSA 10. All right, Pop 2. PSA 10, 2017 Topps Chrome, iconic brand. That's the one where he's jumping. It looks like he's jumping by the wall, and then catching it. And then there's the 2013, his Bowman Chrome, right? Autograph rookie or prospect card, and that's iconic as well, but it is the Black Wave parallel, right? Or refractor, sorry. But it's graded PSA 10, I believe. The auto is also a 10. All right, so and the Black Wave, if you didn't know, in that year is numbered to 50. So a little bit confusing. Not out of 10, number to 50, the Black Wave. Yeah, PSA 10, but it's a 2013, his prospect auto card. Which one are you going with?
I'm going rarity. Out of 5, Pop 2, still rookie card. Did they probably even do waves back then? Did they for Topps Chrome 2017?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think it was more true color. Yeah.
Yeah. So true red, out of 5. Like with that guy that you guys always refer to, you got to go for the rarity, right? And
deep value investor. Yeah.
Deep value investor. Yeah. So I think that's the card that I would go for. It's rarity. It's still a rookie, and there's only one card better than red, right? So.
Yeah. How about you, Will?
Yeah, I hate Bowman Chrome, so it's.
Oh really?
It's always Topps Chrome for me.
Really?
Yeah, it's like for me, it's a hobby logic thing. I get that everyone loves Bowman Chrome more than they love Topps Chrome,
but you have Bowman Chrome cards. Bo Bichette.
Not by choice. Not
by choice. Someone made you bid for that card.
The value. Well, I mean, it was like it's his Bowman Chrome. It's gold auto. Like the gold got me. The gold tricked me into buying it. But also that card was. I felt it was undervalued when I bought it, and so I thought it was just a good play.
Okay.
And
fair enough.
I mean, we just need him to sign his stupid contract and be a Blue Jay for life. And then all the Bo Bichette, like, all the fans who are just, like, scared to invest in Bo Bichette will come back, like, as soon as Bo signs his contract. But yeah, that's why I have his Bowman Chrome. But yeah, Topps Chrome, it's red, it's out of 5. I actually don't like the image of it very much. I think it looks kind of weird because there's other colors that are in the image. Like there's a blue and a gray tone.
Yeah.
And those kind of the red doesn't stand out to me. Like other red ones.
The blue refractor looks exactly like that same card because it has blue and red.
Does it?
No. I'm sure they could have gotten away with it if they did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
no,
like
you're
the red
right.
doesn't stand out, so
It doesn't.
yeah,
You're right.
So I really like it when the red's really strong. And I gotta say, we were so wrong about Aaron Judge, and we were so wrong about Shohei. I think with Aaron Judge, it's the fact that he's a Yankee, so it's very hard to like him. But he's like, but you have to like him. Like, I can't help but like him. And
He's a great ambassador to the game.
I'm so annoyed that I like him so much. And like this season, he's just like, it's not that he's just hitting the home runs. It's that his batting average is like 370 or whatever. Yeah. It's like, is there nothing that he can't do? And then you look over at the National League and there's like, oh, there's that guy who does what Aaron Judge does, but then also pitches. And I just want to hate him. But you can't help but love him. And today,
true.
Our recordings are a little bit delayed. So tonight is actually the All-Star game. And my wife and I were just watching the first inning with our kids. And Shohei got this bloop single. And my wife says to me, he is so good looking. And then she said, if I ever met him, you should be careful. And I was like, hey, if I ever met him, you should be careful. And then he hits the bloop single, and she's just like, what is that? What is that? Like almost like, and then she was like, it wasn't just like, what is that? Like disgusting. It was like, what is that? Like, he's so amazing that even he can like just hit this bloop little single. And I'm like, I can't help but love this man. So I don't know why I got on this tangent, but we should be investing in Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani and Pikachu. Those are the three investments.
But this is also the reason that Will's wearing that WrestleMania shirt after that comment from his wife.
Yeah. It's not going to make it onto the... I don't think we have any viral clips or anything to show, but this is my WrestleMania t-shirt.
It's a WrestleMania 41 t-shirt featuring...
It's my three favorite female wrestlers. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky. And those were the three that I really enjoyed for a while. And then they had a WrestleMania match together. And I was like, I don't care how much this shirt costs and how much shipping is and how much the stupid tariffs are. I'm buying this shirt. And my wife is so disappointed. Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't be an episode without a Will tangent.
Yeah.
So glad we snuck that in at the very end. But
there you go.
I agree with you, Aaron Judge. You can't. I don't know if you saw him on the Pat McAfee show, but Pat McAfee was saying, "How does it feel like to be the guy in New York, the Yankees?" And Aaron Judge being the humble man that he is, it's like, I don't know if I'm the guy. And then Pat McAfee's like, "Yeah, that's what the guy would say," So it's kind of like, you like Aaron Judge even more. And then I saw the clip of Shohei Ohtani. That. I don't know if you saw the clip, but when the Dodgers were playing the Padres, you know how there's bad blood between those two teams, and there's so many guys getting hit by pitches, and Suarez, one of the pitchers from Padres, nailed Ohtani in the shoulder, right? And Ohtani was, then the benches were about to clear, but then Ohtani was telling the bullpen to just stay on the bench, don't come out, right? Because he don't want to cause like a disruption. And then Suarez and Ohtani are on the same National League All-Star team. Yeah. And then Ohtani went up to Suarez pretending his shoulder's still sore.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, and then Suarez just kind of gave him a hug. How can you hate Ohtani? You know what I mean? Like, how can you hate Ohtani and Judge?
Like, you can't be good looking and be an amazing athlete and also be funny. Like, funny's the one thing I got. Like, stop hogging it.
Oh man! All right, so I'm gonna go for the top score red refractor too. So that's
I thought we were talking about the Pikachu. I completely forgot.
So there you go. That's two sweeps and one three-way split. So there you go. We balanced it out at the end of the day.
There you go.
All right, thanks guys for coming on the pod. We'll have you again next month, and thanks to all our listeners for tuning in as always. So we'll have a brand new episode for you next week. Talk to you then. Bye.
Peace.
Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5cardguys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.